fear through Killarney. Now I'm back, hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, danced a jig over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son, still have me life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Backyard Beers and Football. I am your co-host, Shane. He is your co-host, Rob. Rob, how are you?
Come on, man, get your damn syllables right.
I know. Look, I'm combining things that don't necessarily need to be combined.
But, hey, after tonight, we only have one more of these stupid fucking preseason games left, and then it's on to the games that matter. So, that's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. And welcome in are you going to join us all the time, by the way?
Probably every now and then.
Solid. All right, so our third co-host, Steve from Whiskey Ramble and the Chiefs Talk with AMYP, which is hilarious. Steve, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. Did you enjoy the Chiefs segment, by the way? Did you listen to it yet?
No, I didn't listen to
I
it.
laughed. So as I sat there and edited it up, I was like, man, this is dumb, but this is great in the best way possible. So for anyone who listens to our Philadelphia Eagles segment who's also a Chiefs fan, or you just really hate Andy Reid with the same passion that Steve does, which most of us can relate to, definitely give a shout or give a listen to the Chiefs segment. It's called Chiefs Talk with AMYP, hosted by Steve and coasted by me.
Surprised you're doing this already. We haven't even started Whiskey Ramble.
I know. I've had a long day. I don't know what the hell's going on. So Backyard Beers and Football, this is the lighter of our two Philadelphia Eagles segments, Kelly Green Hour, which posted up yesterday, if you guys listened to it, by Connor and Elle.
We're the better one, though.
We are the better one. We're going to stick by that.
Like the competition.
I'd also like the competition. We actually have a question regarding the two shows later for the mailbag segment. But let's start things off with the quarterback who is supposed to play at least a half today, Josh McCown. So the Eagles solve their backup quarterback issue. I guess we'll call it an issue. Didn't this feel to you, Rob, like something that was kind of in the works for a long time?
Kind of, yeah, to an extent. I mean, Josh McCown, he's a patchwork guy. He's going to be there until Sudfeld gets back, which is going to be, week 3, week 4, something like that. I mean, you don't expect McCown to be the long-term, at least I don't, maybe some people do, but you don't expect McCown to be the long-term backup quarterback throughout the rest of the season. He's 40 years old. I don't know if his body could hold up if he is thrust into that backup situation there. So I think that once Sudfeld comes back, then McCown's probably going to be on the way out.
I don't know. I really don't know. To me, that you can't get a more Nick Folesian backup than what Josh McCown is. I trust him to put together 3 or 4 really, really good starts far more than what I would trust Nate Sudfeld right now. It's not to say that Nate Sudfeld's a bad quarterback. I think he has a higher ceiling than what Josh McCown's is going to be at 41 years old for the Eagles. But neither player is overly sexy. But we do now, in my opinion, have at least a top 2 or 3 backup quarterback in all the NFL. Steve, where would you rank the Josh McCown signing? Meh.
I'm just upset that I guessed it would be Osweiler and it wasn't.
I know.
So I'm clearly biased. But he will give you 2 starts. They'll be solid. And that's all I can say about that, really. But the contract they gave him is really he is the backup this year.
Yeah.
In case something goes wrong with Sudfeld, then he's just IR'd and then back next year.
Yep.
He's an insurance plan.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah. He's got some high incentives, so I guess just in case, Wentz is carrying the team and his back falls again. But in any case, I do think that they obviously think highly of Sudfeld. They put that second round tender on him.
Yeah.
So I think when he gets back, he'll probably stay third string for a couple starts, and then he'll probably they might even dress 3 quarterbacks.
They may, to protect Sudfeld, because right. he is going to be their backup quarterback long term. No one's going to argue that. However, if you had to trust the team to sit here and take you like I said, 3, 4, 5 games on any type of a Nick Folesian type of run, I would trust this year's 41-year-old McCown more than I would trust an unproven Nate Sudfeld. The thing about McCown that I like most is his hair. Is there a better head of hair at the quarterback position in all the NFL right now?
Certainly not on a 40-year-old. That's for sure.
That is for damn sure.
Patrick Mahomes II.
Patrick Mahomes II has the craziest, goofiest hair.
That's why it's so great.
It is great. He's so nerdy in a perfect way. Big Patrick Mahomes II supporters here at AMYP. Me for winning me fantasy football last year and unfortunately making me have to play again this year as the AMYP champ. And Steve because he is a Chiefs fan.
You know, it's funny. I think you might actually be opening the season against L.
Me?
Yeah.
Did you set that shit up?
I didn't set it up.
You
it was
can't
random.
possibly. That's just dumb as hell. But whatever. If I have to play LJ more than once a season,
You're starting off 0-1.
I am. Yeah. Well, that's penciling in 2 losses right there. If I have to play LJ more than once, so that should be a
I think
shit
that's the
show.
only time I should help you.
Yeah, I would collusion. Are we going to collude right now on backyard beers and football? All right, little side deals here.
Competition now.
I'll pay 50% of your bets.
I wish I could act out the Ruxin scene on Collusion.
You can act it out. It would actually be brilliant.
I would be pretty terrible at it.
Well, maybe. All right, so we are entering in. Rob said it is the 3rd preseason game. It's the most real of the preseason games. However, by and large, preseason is so just hated throughout the NFL by fans. It is absurd that there are 4 games. How the fuck 15 years ago was there 6? That is brutal to me.
There was 6?
Yes, young man Steve, there were 6.
I didn't pay attention that much.
It was more than 15. It was back in the 90s.
It was early 90s, yeah. But yeah, so there used to be 6 preseason games, knocked it down to 4. Absurd. In today's NFL, and with as much as they protect players throughout all of, you hearing the dogs and shit too?
Yeah, and I'm not wearing a headset, so I know it's real.
So it's, hey, dude, by the way, you can't hear anything. I don't know if it was the noise reduction software, because I did run it, but you can't hear shit on the other segment. So clearly,
Ghost Hunters Whiskey Ramble.
Ghost Hunters Whiskey Ramble segment is going to happen. But in today's NFL, to bring it back, today's NFL has next to no hitting in all of training camp. Everything's so soft. Everything is to protect these players who are bigger, stronger, and faster than ever. Every bit of equipment that they put out there is to give you the best shot at remaining safe in a very violent game. Why the fuck do we have preseason for stars? Like, if you're the Carson Wentz's, if you're Tom Brady, if you're Aaron Rodgers, if you're these proven veteran guys, why? It should just be like the NBA's, rookie league.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, just let these first 2-3 year guys who are not yet really proven go out there and let them fucking play. But how would you guys? Steve already has one, so we'll go to him last because it's probably going to be the most thought out of the two. But Rob, if you had to sit here and make a few changes to what the preseason is for the NFL, that you could make it more enjoyable for fans and for players, for that matter, what would you do?
Well, the first thing I would do is something that's been talked about a lot recently, and I know that they're talking about it on one of the radio stations today. Take away 2 of the preseason games and add 2 regular season games. Have 18 regular season games, and you can implement that rule that they were talking about before, which originally I thought was stupid, but it kind of grew on me, that each player has a max of, 16 that they can play and 2 that they have to sit out. And in the regular season, if they do go to an 18-game schedule.
Yeah, that's a hard pass for me.
Yeah, me too. I can't imagine Patrick Mahomes II sitting out 2 games and seeing
You got to watch Chad Henne. We're going to have to watch the guy with the best hair in football, quarterback 2 of them. My God.
Yeah, but yeah, I would do that. I would go to an 18-game regular season. I would reduce it to 2 preseason games. Another thing I would like to see teams do, and the Rams did it by having a game out in Hawaii, is have some neutral site preseason games at interesting locations. Like maybe, I guess it wouldn't really be a neutral site, but have the Eagles have a preseason game at like Franklin Field or something like that, which would be pretty cool. It's their original home, but they played there when they won their first couple championships. That would be pretty cool for them to go back there and do that. Maybe have some preseason games in cities that don't have NFL teams. Just, kind of do a little bit to showcase the league, I guess. And instead of having the preseason games at the team's home stadiums, because it looks ridiculous when you have a 60 or 70, 80,000 seat stadium and there's only 20,000 people there. That's a bad look for the NFL. So you can go and play it in like a college stadium that's a little bit smaller. It looks better because the stands are more full, and you know, 2 preseason games is all you need. So that's my first thing. My second thing is teams should announce who's playing and who's not 24 hours in advance. We won't have any of the stuff like we have today where we're waiting up until basically right before kickoff to find out if Carson Wentz is playing or if any of the first teamers are playing. So it gives the media a little bit more to talk about when they know who's playing and who's not playing, I guess. And it gives the fans who are going to the game, say if you're planning on buying tickets the last minute, you know who you're going to see. You're not going in anticipation of seeing Carson Wentz and then not seeing him. So the team should open up a little bit. It's not like it's the regular season where you want to keep secrets or whatever, keep your starters away from the opposing head coach for as long as you can. Nobody really cares. Just announce who's playing at least like a day in advance.
I agree with that one specifically for selfish reasons. Like as a fan, if I was heading to the game tonight and not knowing who the hell was going to play or not going to play, it would really piss me off if I had it's like, oh, Carson's definitely going to play.
Game anyway.
Honestly, dude, the link was pretty packed for that opener against the Titans. It was absurd. But preseason's a mess. Preseason is boring. What do you guys think of making it more fan interactive? So I hated the Facebook Live games and like the YouTube games and shit like that, but why not make it interactive and have Carson Wentz sitting over there and answering fan questions and being interviewed on the side and making it at least remotely entertaining and allow fans to ask questions, not commentators who have to ask preloaded, very boring, generic type of questions.
I thought it was kind of cool when Sean McVay was like answering questions from the commentators while like coaching.
Yeah,
because the coordinators are doing more of the stuff in the preseason, but it's just kind of cool to see that. So I would agree with that. Just like okay, like you are the first commenter, you get this question.
Yeah.
Then Facebook would just shut down. It would be broken.
Well, don't put it on Facebook. Leave it on fucking TV or whatever. The other thing I have was people put so much stress on these joint practices now, and so many teams do it. And actually, I think everyone does it now, right? Who did the Chiefs joint practice with this year?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I know they do it, but I just don't remember who it's with.
Yeah, so one of the other things I was sitting here and thinking was, why not make it kind of an old school training camp day? Like, to me, that actually was fun. I remember me, Scott, and his 2 brothers, Scott from TJ's One of Us, we went to Terrell Owens' 2004 first camp, and that was more exciting than some Eagles games in the preseason that I've covered or been to. To me, let those guys out there and have 7-on-7 drills. Let them have, drills against other teams, and then that's all it is. Just a 3-hour open type of practice, and with a quarter-long scrimmage.
See, and you could tie that kind of stuff into what I brought up as having neutral site preseason games. Say you have a preseason game out at, I don't know, State College or something like that. And you could tie that in. You could have, a promotional thing where the Penn State students get discounted tickets or something like that. They get to meet all the players, and that's great for fan interaction. That'll pique interest in the NFL. It'll get the students on the campus more interested in the teams and the players that are involved in the game. They could have them meet some of the players, get autographs, that kind of stuff. You could interview certain players about the atmosphere, like the college stadiums and whatnot.
Yeah. I would love it if everything was like Hard Knocks for preseason games. Put 50 cameras on the field all over the place and just let some mad genius sit up in a booth somewhere and try to make sense of all the cameras that are going on and all the personalities that are out there. Some of the best NHL content that we have is TK skating around, sitting there and calling people nerds. It's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. That to me is so entertaining. If you can get that in the moment as opposed to, 3 days after the Winter Classic there? Or mid-season classic, whatever the fuck it is that the NHL calls it.
They have 6 of them now. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. That to me is fun. Why not do that? Why not
mic up everyone?
Everyone. Just
pick and select who was the funniest or the most outlandish.
That's it. And you're just on a 10-second delay, and you just have 50 interns sitting there saying, that's fucking great. We're going to put that on.
And instead of ESPN having that stupid thing running around the field on Monday Night Football, they can just do that for preseason games and get it out of the way then.
That stupid thing,
true.
Booger McFarland?
The Boogermobile, yeah.
You can't call Booger stupid. It's 2019. Someone may find that offensive, but
Whatever.
that damn cart thing, man. Can you?
The Boogermobile.
Boogermobile is ridiculous.
Yeah. Use that for preseason games, because nobody cares then.
Nobody does. It's absurd. Put the players in there with him. Just lower the thing and let Carson Wentz get into it. Let him ride around like on a Zamboni for a football field, just getting, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is. Steve, do you have anything else on fixing the preseason?
Yes. Sorry. You, like Rob said, go down to 2 games. And then, like you said, something like a rookie league. But here I'm thinking of like an NFL minor league.
Yeah.
Where it's like 8 weeks, the first 8 weeks of the season. Instead of like you have your practice squad eligible players, there's the ones that can't be touched by other teams. So you have those.
It's like an extended tryout.
Literally, yes. And you have like those players like coming back from injury, like they could rehab there. Every team has their own. NFL owners, they make more money. They make more money because the games will be televised on off days, like Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Have them like that every week, and then you have like a 4-team playoff for a championship. See what these like unknown players or guys that like miss their opportunity have another chance. Then they can go out there and prove themselves.
So it's kind of like the second chance league that just folded, but
exactly, yeah. The AAF.
But these are guys that were drafted and are currently there. Like Jordan Mailata could go there and learn how to actually play football.
Yep, and it would compete with the CFL.
Sure.
Yep, and but yeah, you have a very short schedule. You have your 2 weeks of preseason, and then who doesn't make it, they can go to this minor league team-esque.
Yeah, every team's practice squad.
Yeah, because every league has a minor league team when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The NHL has the AHL and then the ECHL.
And every junior league in the history of everything.
Right, but they're not owned by players.
Doesn't matter.
Until they get drafted. The NBA has the D League or the G League now, whatever it is.
Yep.
Baseball's got like 17 levels of minor league.
And 48 more in the Dominican.
Exactly what I was going to say. Even the MLS has what's called the NASL, the North American Soccer League, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think the Unions is like the Bethlehem Steel. So even the MLS has this. There's enough football players in this world to want to play, to make a name for themselves and grow the career out of the sport they love. So they could do this, make a name for themselves, have your associate head coaches, and then just fewer down the line to run this team. The head coach doesn't have to worry about it, but they're getting the calls.
Yeah.
But the NFL owners will make money, TV will make money.
Theoretically, if the product's shit.
Everybody loves fucking football.
Not enough to have kept the AAF in.
That was shit. This actually has players that were like, yes, I was drafted and I got cut, but I will have a second chance.
Yeah.
I have at least 8 games and this league will not fold.
That's true, supported by...
By the way, how long do you give the XFL?
2 years.
The reincarnation of it.
I don't give it 2 years. I don't think it gets through its first season.
I give it 1 year. Just like the first time it went around. 1 year, it ends after the championship game. They call it off. It never exists after that.
Strong possibility.
I give it 2. It'll be a pretty mediocre first year, and then everyone's like, this is fucking stupid. We should just have an NFL minor league system.
That's it. Steve, you'll be the assistant to the GM of all of those teams.
No, I'll be the assistant to the commissioner.
Yeah, just the commissioner's assistant.
This is my idea. I didn't think it would get this far.
Oh my god. All right. So we're going to roll into our... Oh, last question on that. I forgot. We talked about it a little bit. Do you want to see Carson Wentz tonight in 15 minutes to take the field?
No, absolutely not.
Me? Fucking either. As fun as it would be to actually see a real football player out there doing something, not to say that the best hair in football isn't a real football player. He certainly is. Just fucking protect the guy.
Especially because they're going against the Ravens and John Harbaugh's a jackass and Will Blitz from The Blind Side.
That's a good point.
I say give him 3 series. Series?
3 series.
Yeah. Give him 3, just so he gets the feel of this is actually somewhat of a game again.
You don't think he got that from the scrimmage?
No. What, the preseason game?
No. You don't think
Preseason games are just scrimmages.
They'll be perfectly fine warming up for 4 quarters against the Redskins.
Yes, I agree. Because it's going to be Case Keenum or one ankle Colt McCoy, which I fucking love, R.I.P. To his NFL career that never existed because the Browns fucking drafted him. I will find a way to say that every show this year. But no. I'm saying you don't think that he got enough reps against the Ravens this week in practice.
No. It's not like actual like game. Crowd on you. TV on you. I just assume it's a different feel. I never played football, but I just think like, hey, get him out there for like just 3 series. If it's looking poorly after like 1.5, then pull him.
Yeah, that's good for someone's ego. Let's just get on the phone with Nick Foles right now.
No, it's literally like, you're about to get hurt. We can't have that.
All right. Carson Wentz in the preseason. Fucking Carson. All right, so let's get to Lane Johnson's Groundhog advice column. So last week was the first time that we had... First time? Was it the first time? Did we have 2?
Second time.
Second time. But it was the first time that we had actual people write in. So this week we have 5, I want to say. 5. And it's very nice of you.
I appreciate the offer, Steve.
Yes, offering to share Canadian beer on Backyard Beers and Football. Very on brand.
Exactly.
This is why you're here. All right, so let's go with the first one. For those of you guys who have not listened to this show yet, Lane Johnson's Groundhog Advice column is kind of a bit that was birthed because of a Lane Johnson interview on WIP about a groundhog that terrorized his backyard in the offseason, and he had no fun because of it, and he said, maybe I should just shoot it. What do you guys think? Basically, I'm paraphrasing. So we made a bit out of it. You guys ask us for advice on football, life, anything. These are the 5 that we got in this week. So last week, I think we had 2 or 3 in from people. This week, we have 5. First one. Advice needed. I have the first overall pick in my fantasy football league this year. It's a PPR league, nothing too crazy, 10 players. Who would you guys suggest that I take with that first overall pick? And second, it is a rookie keeper league, so do you guys have any impactful rookies that you would suggest I take in a mid-round pick? Love the show, only listened to the first episode, but definitely looking forward to more. Thank you for loving our show. Fantasy God, Steve. Welcome. First overall pick, Pat Mahomes the second?
No, it's always running backs first, but Patrick Mahomes is like that late first-round pick.
Patrick Mahomes was my first-round pick last year. No, he wasn't. Second-round pick last year.
Probably, and I was very fucking angry.
I know, you tried trading for him for like 6 straight weeks.
4 of 5 fucking leagues.
You're welcome.
First-round pick, or first overall, I would probably say it's a toss-up between Saquon and Kamara. I think Kamara will get you more PPR, but Saquon just has that.
See, I would go Christian McCaffrey in a PPR.
Yeah, I can see that. That's why he's like 3rd.
Is he?
Yeah. I think it's Saquon, Kamara, McCaffrey.
I'm going Saquon. Absolutely. Because, once again, just like last season, he's going to be the whole entire Giants offense. Especially without Odell Beckham. He's going to be...
Yep.
You know, the Giants offense is going to run completely 110% through him.
But here's the thing about that. Todd Gurley's fantasy value was terrible the year that they didn't have anybody to help him. But they also didn't have a quarterback. But the Giants don't really have a quarterback.
I don't know if you read that article. I don't even remember who wrote it.
What, that the Giants love Daniel Jones?
No, it was something that literally came out like two days ago or something. That
was it by that guy who used to cover the Eagles and he covers the Giants now? I forget his name.
Maybe. I don't remember.
He said that Daniel Jones has a higher ceiling than Carson Wentz.
A higher ceiling, and there were like 3 or 4 different categories specifically that he left out there that he was like, oh, he's better right now than Carson Wentz is.
I want to know what kind of drugs that guy is on.
I would like to try.
Steve, welcoming into
a willing participant
and minor drug use. All right, so you have a little bit of advice here that doesn't make your life any easier. You have Steve, who would go with, you said Kamara?
I said Saquon or Kamara. It's a toss-up, and with Rob going with Saquon, I am going to have to go with Kamara.
And then I'm going to have to go with Christian McCaffrey, so I'm sorry we couldn't help you at all. In terms of mid-round rookies in a rookie keeper league,
Mecole Hardman. Chiefs. Wide receiver.
Yes.
Mid-round rookies.
That's a late-round pick, by the way, but sure.
When was Miles Sanders drafted?
This year.
No, I mean...
Like what?
No. Like he's drafting mid-round for a rookie keeper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was confused by that. I've never heard that terminology before, but yeah.
You never been in a rookie keeper league?
Nope, never done that before.
It's crazy. So I had a cap. Have you ever done them, Steve? A rookie keeper
I never did a
league?
rookie keeper league, but I've done keeper leagues.
Yeah, so basically, you can set it where you literally build your own roster and you have keep protection on everybody. So unless you you have rights the day you draft these people, or you can say you can keep a maximum of 3, or you can only keep your second round pick, or you can only keep your 5th round pick, whatever it ends up being.
The one keeper league I was in was you keep this player, you lose that draft pick that you drafted him at.
Yeah, I've done keeper leagues before, just never rookie keeper leagues.
Never rookie keeper.
So you draft a rookie, you keep said rookie.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, I keep my answer. It's going to be Sanders.
Sanders. I don't really have anything for you on rookies here, so just take one of their guys. But good question. Glad that you listened to the show, and definitely continue to listen to more. And you said you listened to the first one and not the second or third. And the second or third, we've gotten increasingly better each show, so make sure that you listen to those too. All right, next one I have. This one's kind of long, and I did make these larger this time so that I can kind of see them.
Do you need glasses?
Can you read your own writing yet?
Hey, I've typed it this time.
No,
But,
he
Can
can't.
you read your own English?
well, technically, I just copied and pasted it from the email, and then...
Okay, so
blew
you're
it
just
out.
going to blame them if you can't read.
Oh, no. I 100% can't see this, and I also can't read.
But I know he can't type either. I've read his emails.
That's true. Yeah, for 10 years you've been reading my emails. All right. Hey, guys, looking for some different advice. I'm incredibly superstitious about my viewing of Eagles games. They're the only team in the city that has this level, or that I operate with this level of oddity to my watching. First of all, solid use and oddity. I won't go through my entire list of quirks, but I do need to touch on this last one. I am recently separated from my husband, who is a very big part, or who played a very big part in 2 different pieces of my game day rituals. First of all, the night before the game, and again once more in the morning, he, in quotes, did me the favor. So first of all, it's amazing you're separated from this man if he's doing you the favor night into the morning. Well done, sir. I told him that it keeps my nerves calm for game day in efforts to make this a more regular occurrence in our life. The second part is that if the Eagles were losing headed into the half, that I rode my aggression out and got, a little more violent with him. If things were winning, I would return the favor, in quotations. Ties were confusing. We never did quite figure that pattern out. That's funny when you just decide to not do anything. This is my first...
We sat there in silence.
They may have, just staring at each other like, well, you start, no, you start, no, you start, no, you start. Second half started, let's turn.
We don't know what to do now.
we don't know what to do with our cues. This is my first football season separated from him, and he no longer lives in the house, and I need him to man up and keep this going for the good of our city's football team. My friends and people at work tell me that I'm so stupid for doing this and leaving this door open. So my question for you is, what's a girl to do?
Well, you got to go convince him to at least come back for the football games. Otherwise, when the Eagles lose, we're just going to blame it on you.
And I have your email address now, so we are going to send you hate mail.
You've got to take one for the team here.
That's true.
I mean, if you didn't want to take one for the team, maybe you shouldn't have been so open about this. But
Well, it sounds like she's open about everything.
yeah, now that you're opening up about this,
talking to all her friends.
we know what your deal is here, and we know your superstitions and what you did, to help the Eagles win the Super Bowl 2 years ago. If the Eagles fail this year, it's on you.
There you go. Steep words from Rob. Steve, what's
Find
your
a new
advice?
man. Find that first man that Saturday night before, the game, and then, force them to stay over by offering.
See if
these-
it works.
Yes. And then if it doesn't work, next man.
So you should frequent Hazy's. I have a feeling that there's going to be a very particular Chiefs fan there who would like to service you in all of your quirky needs. I just love the fact that you made this part of your Sunday 16-week ritual. That's brilliant on your part. So I have so many questions. I feel like people need to be more specific in their emails here. Like, who fucked up on who? Like, whose fault is it that a divorce is occurring? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, paint all the gory details.
I don't
Seriously.
need, like, all of them, but I need something to go with. Like, if this dude cheated on you, don't let him back in them holes. Like, come on now. Can we say that? That's pretty bad. We're going to say it anyway.
You said it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, at this point, it lives
already-
forever.
already
It's a
said it.
podcast.
Cares?
It's
We're
not
not
that
people. We're
not
not-
that I edit these.
We're not PC.
So clearly not. But I don't know. My best advice for you is to check in on Hazy's. It's a quality bar. It's dark, and he looks a lot better and taller than he is in real life.
Oh man, short jokes. That's offensive.
Well,
Some shade there.
a little. All right, got one for you. All right, got one for Rob. Rob, I have to know what goes into your selection of drink of the week. So, Steve, by the way, if you haven't listened to one of these shows yet, we end it every week with Rob's drink of choice, and it coincides with what kind of week he has. Okay. So, what goes into your decision on your drink of the week? I'm not prepared to say that I will base my own choices on the liquid courage of based on your metrics alone. But hey, your podcast supports an entire end of a show on your alcoholic choices alone. Your selection's got to be worth something. My advice that I need is, what is my drink this week? So, should we revisit this at the end of the pod?
We can, but I can touch on it right now.
All right, touch on it now.
So basically, nothing goes into it. I literally just go to the bar, I kind of randomly look around, and I point at something and say, give me that one.
That's it?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
Do you ever, have just a regular beer to get yourself into it a little bit? And the drunker you get, your finger wanders
really
to more
pretty
obscure
random.
things.
You don't have a usual go-to.
No, it's pretty random. Sometimes I'll go into the bar, I'll get a Budweiser, I'll get a Bud Heavy. Sometimes I'll go in, I'll get a Miller Lite. Sometimes it's Yingling. It basically just depends on what kind of mood I'm in that day.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Really random.
I don't even drink it. That's weird to me.
As far as light beers go, or in domestic beers, they're all pretty much the same to me.
Well,
You could give me
That's terrible.
you could give me a Bud Light and a Miller Light, and I'll drink them both, and they'll taste exactly the same.
Piss probably better tasting and more alcoholic than Miller Lite.
Well, yeah, you
probably
look.
do.
I mean, you are the host of the Whiskey Ramble.
it is true.
Yes. I will offer advice.
By the way, I do like whiskey though.
Jameson or try a Victory beer.
Jameson, yes. As an Irish person, I fully support that.
There you go.
Irish car bombs, by the way,
Don't
may at some point be a drink of the week. Probably not right now, but later on in the season.
If we lose to the Cowboys.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I have that car bomb story about the Colts beating the Chiefs in the playoffs, so.
Well, you should be taking multiple car bombs after that.
Yes.
I would have taken a literal car bomb if I was a Chiefs fan after that.
I took one, tried for another, the real one, and then I went back to the bar and just had an actual Irish car bomb.
Well done.
I was actually really happy about that game. I was out in Vegas and put like $50 on the Colts.
Fuck you. Fair bet.
That's awesome. All right, so we got two more here. First of all, this one did make me laugh. This is for both of us. First of all, Shane's voice alone gets me wet. Thank you. Then Rob's quick dismissal of Tinder selections from last week's show was the comedic finish that I needed to, well, finish. Rob, thank her. She's being a lady.
Thank you very much.
So, guys, answer me this, and for me, talk slow. That's actually hilarious that she literally put that in there.
So you're saying that we have radio voices?
Well, we certainly don't have TV faces. So, all right, my boyfriend claims to be heavily involved a heavily involved sports fan. So far, I have only seen him wear a faded Hank Baskett jersey that barely fits him, a Donovan McNabb knockoff, and a Dawkins authentic that I bought him that he didn't even seem to get excited for. Am I able to say without a reasonable doubt that the guy that I am dating is a boyfriend chameleon based on his jersey selection alone?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I'm not sure I fully trust this guy yet. After watching games with him, it's a lot like what I would imagine watching games with a moody teenage girl with attitude problems would be like. Who am I dating, and what should I do?
Well, boyfriend chameleon pretty much sums it up. Those are the only 2 or 3 jerseys that he has.
It's the only ones that she put, or
Yeah.
you put, whatever.
The average male sports fan
2019.
should own at least like half a closet's full of jerseys.
Well, that's absurd.
No, okay, all right.
Not all throwbacks like you.
No. Let me be a little bit more realistic. Should have at least a half dozen jerseys in there. 6.
I know what half dozen is.
we know what that is.
I was trying to count in my head.
Me too.
If I had
That's exactly
6
what I was
jerseys.
doing.
Oh my god. I think 6 is a reasonable number there.
Yeah. If he doesn't have more than, or 6 or more.
Okay, we got to break this down. Let's first of all, all right. First of all, thank you. I'm glad that my voice works for you. Second of all, Tinder's a terrible place. So if Rob could shed some comedic brilliance in his Tinder swipings for you, or that wasn't even it. I don't remember what it was last week with a Tinder selection. But I'm glad that you finished.
I don't do Tinder anymore. I do Bumble.
Okay, sure.
That's probably what it was.
Is that the gay app?
No.
Okay.
No, it's the women have to make the first move.
Yeah.
You match, and then the woman has to message you first.
Yeesh.
It's how you know, like, they're actually kind of interested.
This is purely for the protection of women, I take it, so that you guys can't
Yes.
bombard them? This is a crazy
Hey,
time to live.
I don't
here.
need,
saying you guys.
I don't need to worry about it. The
It's a
women are
Sadie
bombarding
Hawkins.
me.
There you go. He's a
Must
handsome
be nice.
man.
Trying to
Oh,
lump me
you
in
shut
with
the hell up, man. I'm sending your ass to Hazy's to meet someone with
trying to lump me in with a
issues.
gay app. Come on, man.
Nah, it doesn't matter. It's 2019. This shit's fine. So let's move on. A Hank Basket jersey? I mean, who owned a Hank Basket jersey?
Speaking of gay.
You know what's funny? I actually had a knockoff McNabb jersey. That
you
was
the guy?
signed by Hank Basket.
It was signed by Hank Basket?
Yeah.
Well, that decreased its
weird.
value, like,
He did
how
a
little it was already?
autograph session at the Blue Dog in Chalfont.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 2006 or whatever the one year that he is kind of like half relevant.
Huh.
But yeah, that was
Crazy.
it was a piece of shit jersey. A, because I hated McNabb, and B, because it was signed by Hank Basket.
God.
Okay.
I don't know, man. All right, so first of all, it says here, where am I at? You were together for nearly a year.
That's like barely long enough to be official.
Well, no. First of all, that's very official.
No.
In 2019, relationships last for, 3.5 minutes in a bedroom and then you're done?
Never made it past 7 months.
There you go. So if you're nearing a
Sounds
year
like
at
an
this
ideal
point,
relationship
and this
to me.
is, there you go.
Okay.
Living vicariously through you two. Totally not.
Not me.
She's great. Well, parts. Nearing a year, I would say that if you're still with this person and still trying to figure them out, maybe stop and go to Hazy's and pick up a Chiefs fan.
You could just come to my house.
You just add on Bumble.
I mean, Rob's the one that finished it. You got her started.
That's true.
That was
That's
never part of the
true.
equation, so it's all Rob. Hold on, I need to call
what I
Shane
am.
first.
Oh,
finisher.
just say anything. You are a finisher. This is already the best one that we've had so far.
Yeah, by the way, final answer: your boyfriend sucks. Get rid of him.
No arguments here. All right, the final one for Lane Johnson, Groundhog Advice column of the week, is I have a game day location question that I'd like your opinion on. Am I the only one who watches different games at different locations? Big games against key opponents, I always watch out at the bar. Mediocre games, or mediocre regular season games, I usually head to a buddy's house. And then the lesser games of bad competition, I kind of just watch these at home and relax. Is this normal? What do you guys do in your game days? I feel like we're all different here.
That's the first that I've heard of something like that.
We are all different here.
Yeah, because you watch almost everything at Hazy's except for primetime games at home.
Yes, but before I would,
This is Steve talking, by the way. I'm not used to having two people in the studio.
every now and then I would go to this bar that's like really close to my house, and they have a happy hour like Sunday night, so like a Sunday night game, I would go there. Every fucking time they got blown out. It would be the
So did you
Packers,
stop?
Steelers, so I can't go there anymore. I've even said to myself, I can't go to a primetime game outside of my house.
Smart. You're watching them here this year now.
We'll see how the first one goes.
Yeah, if we lose, then
Still
all of a
technically
sudden,
a house, so.
rip the Chiefs segment if they lose.
But yeah, that's usually my thing.
And then Rob, you're at a cigar lounge sometimes. You're here sometimes.
well-
You're home sometimes. What?
I mean,
And
I
who's
was
going this?
only here once last year, and they lost to Tennessee in overtime. They blew that lead, so I think that goes out the window. No
He's
offense
never-
to you guys, I love
he's never
hanging out
coming
with you
here
guys,
again.
but they're 0-1. They're winless when I watch games here. So, but yeah, for the most part, when I'm not actually at the game in person, I'm usually watching with my dad and a couple of his friends up at the cigar lounge I belong to in Doylestown, which is pretty cool. It's a good environment there. But the one thing that's consistent for me is always got to have that Kelly Green Randall Cunningham jersey on every single game. They won the Super Bowl when I wore that jersey, which, by the way, that's the funny part, is I wasn't at either of those locations at the game or at the Cigar Lounge when the Eagles won. I was actually at my buddy Austin's house.
And then the hospital after he killed you.
Yeah, he murdered me. He gave me a concussion. And then I went out and got
So
drunk.
worth it. And it fixed everything.
Yeah.
Backyard, beers, and football.
So what do you do? You just stay at home?
So yeah, I host an Eagles party every single week. Sometimes it's 3 people, and those are the sad ones. And then other times there's too many people there's just too many asses for seats. So I think every single time it's exactly the same. This year I'll probably have to split some times and watch some games at the bar with Steve, so that we can provide quality content on our Chiefs show. And then
Shane
also,
witnessing what my day is like at the bar.
Yeah. So, and make sure he gets home okay. So yeah, I don't think anyone has any set things like you do. That's interesting that you do. We're going to all have to probably pay attention to what we do this year and see if there's any merit to what happens and what occurs because of our watch plays.
I kind of have a set thing that I was trying to implement last year when I got the Eric Berry jersey. I have Jamal Charles and Eric Berry, one's home, one's away.
Yeah.
No, I fucked that up. I have the Tom Holly jersey and the Jamal Charles jersey. I just got really close to purchasing an Eric Berry one.
Should do it anyway.
Yeah, I was very close today. Then I got busy. But
well, wait till he signs somewhere else.
No. I'll just get pissed.
Fair.
If he signs in fucking New England with Patrick Chung and his cocaine run, then I'll be really angry, and I don't think I would be able to buy it. But I was trying to alternate, and then it just got all fucked up, and I couldn't pay attention to the wins and losses with it. So I was trying to force a superstition. So don't do that.
Fair. Unless you're that chick who needs to go to Hazy's to meet up with Steve. Force all the superstition you'd like.
Or message Ramble on Twitter.
That was the other chick.
Oh, right.
Yeah, 2 different chicks, we think.
Nasty.
Maybe. Find a way to work her into every segment.
She sent me a snap, by the way. I still need to open it.
I hope it's a video and you can play it into the microphone.
And Steve, at least I respond to her, by the way.
Yeah, I had to stop. It was just a lot of pointless things. The occasional,
Well, you can respond to it with your own pointless bullshit. That's what I do.
How to eat
I have
soup
like a-
with
I
an
can't do it.
envelope.
I can't
I have
do
like
it.
a 45-day snap streak going with her.
I lasted 9 days. I'm just going to do it anymore. I'm like, this is just stupid.
I hate Snapchat. I'm 700
have
years
Snapchat?
old. No, I don't have Snapchat.
And how can you hate it?
Stories.
Here's the thing. All right, quick side tangent. It's nothing to do with football, everything to do with social media and the ways that people can get in contact with you. When I was growing up, there was 2 ways in which people could actually get in contact with you. They could call you on the telephone, to which you could just ignore or unplug as a landline. They could come to your home. And if they did that,
Turn the
it
lights
was a
out.
different time. You answered the door, and that was fine. Eventually, we figured that out. If you turn the lights out and you crawl behind a wall, everyone thinks that you're not there, and you could ignore them. Now, we have 45 different dating apps, of which Rob uses every single one.
Except for Tinder.
We have 17 different social media platforms of the sort that you can get in contact. You have emails. You have it's fucking absurd.
You
I don't
can
need
follow people's location.
in what?
Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Oh, I guess
And
everything.
just-
Yeah,
I think iPhones are able to, share your location.
See, this is a terrible place. I want to
I
live
never
in that
share it.
igloo from the last segment where I could just watch Philadelphia sports in peace, where no one will visit me. No one will call me. I'd probably have dog shit cell service there. That to me sounds orgasmic. That to me is a life I'd like to live.
It's because you hate people.
I do hate people.
I mean, so do I, but...
I love our followers and listeners, though. You guys are fantastic.
I hate people, but if they're beautiful women, then I make an exception for them.
For an hour.
Sometimes less.
Depends on how beautiful they are.
I thought you were going to go the opposite way and say sometimes more. But only 2. Only 2 hours.
Start getting chafed. Oh my god. All right, so let's get out of the Groundhog advice column because this is a dark hole at this point. All right, so we always talk one player from the previous team that the Eagles played that week that we would like to take on our team with the Eagles. No questions asked. Last week I went with Ryan Tannehill as our backup, and that was prior to the Josh McCown thing.
Good choice.
So who did you go with from the Titans last year? You went with Derrick Henry, right?
Yes.
You went with Derrick Henry.
I have 7 running backs.
Pretty
You
much.
wanted a bruiser. All right, so
My thing was the Titans really don't have any position where they're better than the Eagles, so I just went with...
except Ryan Tannehill over
Yeah, backup quarterback, which is
important.
No, it's irrelevant.
14 of the last 16 years, the Eagles have used a backup quarterback for like a full
Still
game.
irrelevant.
It's absurd.
That's exactly why he's in Tennessee.
He's going to be starting by like week 3.
He's starting at least 5 games.
Yeah, we
starting
could
at
set the
least 10
over-under
games.
right now for me and you on a thing.
I'll go to Park to place the bet.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So this week, obviously, we are recapping the Jags game. So, Rob, if you could put any Jags member on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Pretty
Who are you
obvious
taking?
choice. I would take
Except for Nick Foles, I'm sorry.
Well, no, I wasn't going to go that way. I was going to go Jalen Ramsey minus the ego. Just the talent. Just the physical player and his talent, not his head.
Physical player and his talent and not his head.
Yes.
That's hilarious. Steve, if you had to take any Jacksonville Jaguar not named Nick Foles,
Yeah.
who are you taking?
For the Eagles or the Chiefs?
You know what? Amuse us. Go with both.
And
Because
guess
they
what?
should be different.
Foles was a Chief at one point, too.
Yeah, I know. For the Chiefs, it's clearly Jalen Ramsey because we don't really have much cornerbacks that are solid at all besides Kendall Fuller. So that just goes without saying. For the Eagles, I really don't know. Gardner Minshew, just because he has a fun name to say.
What's this now?
I knew you weren't paying attention when I said
Sorry,
Gardner
I'm
Minshew.
currently reading emails. But
Telvin Smith for the Eagles.
why?
He's a linebacker. He's fast as shit. He's good.
You're not going to take Jack?
Miles Jack? I think Telvin Smith would be better for the Eagles.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. No.
Oh, I'm taking Jack then, but that's a weird...
I feel you line up Telvin Smith as an end.
An end,
and
too?
He would do well.
You just not like the way that he runs?
Who?
Jack.
No, I like Jack.
Okay.
I just think Telvin Smith's a little bit better.
Interesting. All right, so we went 2 linebackers and a cornerback. Sorry, I'm sitting here blanking on who the hell Rob took. I thought you took Bowie for a minute. Boye, how the fuck do you say his name?
Boye?
Yeah.
AJ Boye?
Boye sounds funner.
Boye does sound for Boye. I don't even drink. Backyard beers and football and the sober one, just like in Whiskey Ramble, stutters and mumbles his way through segments. So, like I said, every single week we will pick a player from the other team that we would like to adopt as a Philadelphia Eagle. This week, 2 linebackers and a corner. All right, so we have a mailbag section this week. Forgive me, all I did was blow these up again, and I am a person who can't read. So I'll ask you guys the questions. If I have anything dramatically different, I will chime in. Outside of that, you two are answering. So first one. What do you make out of Jordan Mailata's development? He played 92% of the snaps last week with the steal of Dillard in that first round, and then Lane Johnson, obviously the league's best right tackle. Where do you think Jordan Mailata is by the end of preseason? Do you think he's a Philadelphia Eagle?
There's no way I can answer this question.
You don't know anything about Jordan Mailata?
I have no idea.
Okay. Rob, going to you.
Inevitably, I think that, and this is a tough call for me because it kind of could go either way. I think he just barely makes the 53-man roster. He's not going to play much. He'll be, a depth guy, but he just barely makes it.
I agree. I do think he makes it. I was really encouraged by his, by both of his games, really. He very much so seems like a rhythm guy, so a guy who needs to get out on the field, be able to pace himself and feel that game out, feel out whoever his opponent is that week. There's been times where people with really good technique just get by him, and then there's other times where his size is enough to win him those battles. So he's an interesting piece. I think people sit there and look at what's his name from the Steelers, Villanueva, and think, shit, you take a chance on someone and they can turn into a future Hall of Famer. Well, that's not the case for everything. I do think Jordan Mailata could be a very, very good tackle, but obviously he still has to learn what football is. So the second one is, what do you think is the over-under on games started by Josh McCown? I'm going to say that it is 3.5. So based on my 3.5, what do you guys take?
Under.
Over or under? You're taking the under.
Under, yes.
I'm taking the under.
Why are you guys taking the under?
Because he's not going to start any games.
Okay.
Carson's going to stay healthy.
Okay, Carson does not stay healthy. Josh McCown plays approximately 1.5, and then Sudfeld's in.
Why do you think Sudfeld's in?
because they're going to dress 3 quarterbacks, he'll be healthy by this time.
If Josh McCown stays on the roster for the entirety of the season, maybe he starts week 17 if the Eagles have it locked up and they're just playing the backups.
There's no way they play McCown over Sudfeld at that point.
I don't know.
You're not going to play a 41-year-old backup in your week 17 when you have Nate Sudfeld, who you were pretty high on.
Yeah, it's another Dallas week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play Sudfeld in that game, not McCown. There's no reason to play him with no future.
Yeah. So I'm also taking the under for the same reason that Rob has. I also believe that Carson will stay healthy, knocking on everything near me, currently trying to get hard to knock on that too. Which tight end, well, that's weird transition, which tight end do you think has a better stat line come this season's end? Obviously, Ertz is a safety blanket and clear-cut starter, but all things are pointing to an increased role for Dallas Goedert, who has already been really effective in the red zone. So of the two, who do you think has the better stat line come season's end?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell because I think that Ertz still has the higher reception total, but I think that Goddard ends up with more touchdowns. So it's whatever you value more. Obviously, a touchdown is more important than a reception. Like I said, Ertz with more receptions, but Goddard being more valuable in the red zone and racking up the touchdowns. So I guess I would say Goddard in that situation.
I would say Ertz because, like, I agree with what you said, but I just think having a guy that is having, like, near 100 catches and 1,000 yards, that's more like, valuable to your team than a guy that has like 10 touchdowns and like 40 catches.
So I agree with both of you in this particular stance for the exact same reasons that you had. I do think that the more physical of the two is Goddard. I still think that he needs to learn how to play with that physicality and stay under control. But I don't know. I think so long as Ertz is healthy, he's the guy. So that'll be the stat line that I think probably edges out.
I think if you're looking at run after catch, Goddard will pass Zach Ertz.
Everyone will pass Zach Ertz. All right, so LJ seems to think that Miles Sanders will be the starting running back sooner rather than later. What is your overall thought on the Eagles running backs room? Who is the odd man or men out? Rob, we'll start with you.
Odd man out. I hate to say it because I like to root for the local guys, but I think it's going to be Josh Adams.
Yeah.
I wish that he would make it. I would love to have a 2-1-5 guy on the Eagles roster, but I think Smallwood, they're more keen on keeping him around. They're more comfortable with him. They've said that they like him in a number of different situations. So Josh Adams, yeah, man out.
Smallwood's just going to make this roster for the rest of time. I don't understand how this continues to occur.
It's going to be like 2050, and he's going to be like 75 years old.
And the offensive coordinator or something.
Yeah.
Nice. He's the next
dude. He'll still be playing. He'll be like Burt Reynolds in The Longest Yard.
Quality, I like that.
So I think Smallwood's the man out.
Okay.
Corey Clement is the guy I think is going to be an Eagle for life.
Why?
I just think he will forever be like at least like your third string running back.
You think he's the Corell Buckhalter of this team?
Literally, that's exactly what I wanted to say, but you said it for me.
Sorry, man.
And without the injuries.
Yes. Well, he's facing them now, but sure.
Yeah, he'll get through it on like Corell.
Yeah. Damn shame. He was so good.
Yeah, but I think, if you have like a Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders, and then Corey Clement, that's a really solid 3-man running back tandem. And then you have Josh Adams to fill in when one gets inevitably hurt. Clement, or I can see how we're getting hurt this year.
Sproles is still going to be there.
I forgot Sproles was here.
He still exists.
He's literally just going to punt return.
Punt return and like gadget stuff on third down.
Yeah. So like carry 5 running backs, it's kind of unheard of. But I
don't think they're carrying 5.
I think they might.
I think it's going to be Adams and
is Adams practice squad
Adams
eligible?
And Smallwood. He is practice squad eligible.
He'll probably be on the practice squad.
He's not going to get through. I don't think.
I think he could.
Some team will snatch him up.
Yeah, he's got dog shit vision out there for a running back.
There's teams out there that are really thin at running back that just need somebody.
There are, and he does still at times flash that potential. So I don't know. The Eagles have a lot of talent and depth there, but so it will be interesting to see. I think one way or another, fans are not going to be pleased.
By the way, I'm really excited about the things that I've heard so far about Corey Clement and the way he's played during training camp and in some of the the limited preseason action that he's got.
He hasn't played the preseason.
He hasn't?
He's hurt.
Well,
He also hasn't been practicing with the team.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell was WIP talking about today?
This week he started practicing for the first time. But yeah, he didn't.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I haven't watched any of the preseason games. I'm just going off of what I heard on WIP, and they said that he's looked really good when he has been out there.
Yeah, this week, Marks and Reese were talking about that today, I think.
Yeah.
This week was the first week that he was practicing with the team. Other than that, he was doing individual stuff, which they did speak highly on. But it's really easy to look good when you're the only one on the fucking football field. So, all right. I don't know where the fuck was that. What did I just ask? Miles Sanders one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Miles Sanders one. All right. Do you and the Kelly Green Hour ever collab? Please use the full word. Or would you, since you guys just started? So we've actually talked about this before, Rob.
We could help them step their game up a little bit.
War started between AMYP members and podcasters.
It's a competition now.
It's on.
Damn right it's a competition. We are going to do some collaboration shows. I think Connor and I brought that up on Crossing Borders, so you may have listened to that show, which is why you're asking us now. Rob and I have talked about this before, about having, maybe right before the season, maybe at the midway point, something like that, having a show is to see how each crew thinks the season is gone. So, yeah, I think so.
You should do it every quarter of the season.
Every 4 games?
Yeah.
All right. I can dig it. All right, so we'll go every quarter of the season. We'll do a collaboration show.
So when they're 4-0, 8-0, 12-0, and 16-0. And then when they're 19-0.
That is a bold fucking prediction.
Okay. You do you.
You do you. No, it'll be good, though. It'll be good to have all of us in the room. We haven't done that in, I think, over a year at this point, to have all of us in the room at the same time. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, it used to get really fucking crowded in here.
Yeah, it was absurd. And we used to all huddle around one cross-Zoom mic. So our sound quality was dog shit.
Oh, how far we've come.
I know.
Like 18 damn people sitting in a circle around
It's
the
true.
mic.
Which, by the way, get a goddamn mic for the show. Doesn't even need to be one of these. Just get something that I can plug into this. That way I don't have to keep shifting the microphone stand. Not that it matters. I think this is going to be a rarity that we have 3 or more on. What did I just ask? Fuck, man. I really got to... All right. Did you guys see... Thanks. Don't use the whole word. I hate when people do that shit.
That's exactly why I said it again.
Did you guys see John Barshid's tweet about trading Jason Peters straight up for Clowney? I don't have a real opinion on this matter either way. I just wanted to get your guys' takes. I did see that tweet, and I laughed at the entire way that he prefaced it, so I will answer last. Rob, did you see that tweet, and would you do this trade?
I didn't see the tweet, but I've heard the rumors. And no, I wouldn't, because Carson Wentz is coming off an injury. You want to keep your franchise quarterback protected as well as you can. Andre Dillard, maybe not completely ready yet. You want to keep Jason Peters there, A, to be the best option available, and B, to kind of groom Andre Dillard into becoming the heir apparent to that position there.
Yep.
So, yes, keep Jason Peters. He is integral to the offensive line. He's integral to Carson Wentz's health. And Jadeveon Clowney, he's a nice player, but he even admitted it himself. He takes some games off, takes some plays off. Don't really want that here in Philadelphia. That's not going to fly. So, no, I'm not pulling the trigger on that trade.
Steve, what is your thought on that?
My thought on it is there's no way Houston does that. You're trading, like a 26-year-old man?
A disgruntled 26-year-old player
for
who they can't afford.
For a 42-year-old man?
They don't have an offensive line, and it would protect... And we knock up the pick right before them to take Dillard.
So the half of Jason Peters that actually works will be better than any offensive lineman that they have there.
That's fair, but you're also only training this for 1 year of Jason Peters, because I could foresee him playing another year here, even like a complete
But I think he would retire elsewhere.
He's at Houston. Fuck this shit. I'm retiring.
Yeah,
I'm a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And then Clowney might not even re-sign here, so it's like kind of messing up some chemistry, and then.
Yeah,
it's just a trade that doesn't really work for both sides. Ideally, it does.
It would,
but thinking about the whole picture, it doesn't.
Well, it would, and I think this is why he brought this up, is the fact that they both. It's 1 year left on each of their deals. If they both show up and they both choose to play, and each team gets the full value of each player. Deshaun Watson stays healthy, and he's a near MVP caliber quarterback, maybe. And then Clowney comes in and immediately becomes the best lineman on the D side for the Eagles. And if that both works out for one season, that trade works. It's a wash. Neither team is going to re-sign either of those players, but each team improved a dramatic need for the current season. So I understand it. I just don't think that you move a future Hall of Famer and a guy whose jersey should be retired for the Eagles for a guy who's going to leave in a year and who is probably going to cause the same type of mess. So yeah, I am also with you two. Not in on the Peters for Clowney.
And see, another thing I'm taking into consideration is Jadeveon Clowney. It's become clear now that he's a high-maintenance personality, and the Eagles had that last year with Michael Bennett, and after the season ended and Bennett left, some of the players made it kind of apparent that he was kind of a problem in the locker room. A lot of the guys didn't really get along with him. You don't want that same situation with Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, I agree. And we place so much value here on the culture of our locker rooms and clubhouses. I don't see that working at all. So, and Clowney's not going to be an Eagle, so I think we should just stop talking about that. But yeah, great question. Keep them coming.
I'm also high on the future of Derek Barnett as well.
I also love Derek Barnett. I also love Josh Sweat, but I know I'm in the minority there. All right, this is for, well, we can all answer it at this point. It's basically an ad spot. What other podcasts do you do, and how many people are in your podcasting team for AMYP? So I'm on 48 different podcasts, no less. It's absurd. Rob is in 36 different shows, and Steve's in, 34? It's absurd. We have a lot of shows here at AMYP.
We're all going to be in over 50 probably by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's absurd. A lot of content. But in all seriousness.
Okay. I was confused.
No. In all seriousness. So Rob and I do a Philadelphia Phillies show together in Cap We Trust. All of these can be found, by the way, on the same place that you're listening to this. So this is kind of a ridiculous question. So if I'm losing you for calling you an idiot in this moment.
I think he's trying to find who does what.
They're all in there. It says.
He probably doesn't read the bio.
Read the bio, then. God damn.
Okay, just not belittle the listeners.
I apologize. Read the damn bio.
And bios written by you, he might not be able to read it.
It's true, actually.
Touche.
Shit. All right, I take all this back. I love you for the question. I admire you so much. Thank you for listening to AMYP. All right, so I'll run through them really, really quickly then. Backyard Beers and Football is standard. Me and Rob, Steve will be joining that for a good bit of time. Disciples of Ed, which we will record right after this, is typically Rob and Steve. I will join on a third. Occasionally, sometimes Connor, our resident Canadian, will join in because he has to.
It's obligatory. He's from Canada. He has to talk hockey.
Unfortunately, he has to, whether he likes it or not. Kelly Green Hour is the other football segment that we have. That is Connor and Elle.
Our secondary football segment.
The inner AMYP wars here. TJ is one of us, is me and our LA connection, Scott. Rob is also on that show occasionally. Connor sometimes as well. Whiskey Ramble is hosted by Steve, and Chief segment, or Chief, what is we calling it? Just
Chiefs Talk with NEP.
Chiefs Talk with AMYP. Me and Steve do that. Steve hosts it. What am I missing here? The People's Take is Connor and LJ. It's a wrestling show, WWE wrestling. And
Elle and I will be starting a college basketball show coming up around November when the season starts.
So that'll be good.
Are we doing anything with fantasy football coming up?
Connor was going to be doing something because he writes for someone, but Connor's time has been stretched too, so I don't know. Put that one on hold.
Connor's got a girlfriend, so he's pretty busy.
Is it called Fantasy Football? Is his girlfriend named Fantasy Football?
Quite possibly. Buying a house with his winner.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so we have a lot of shows here. I'm sure I'm forgetting one or two here at this point, but follow all of them and read the bio. I promise I will proofread my own writing now. I proofread everyone else's. Me, I just type out and say, send it out. It's good to go. Clearly, I am mistaken. Shane, what is the story behind your fantasy football name? For those of you guys who do not know, my fantasy football name is called the Failed Wingman. Steve, you want to tell the story as to why I am called the Failed Wingman?
How long have I known you? I think it's
12 years?
Yeah, 11, 12 years I've known Shane. He has tried to hook me up with so many women. He's tried to hook up various other friends as well with other women, and not one has ever,
He's still rocking the golden sombrero?
What?
Still rocking the
Baseball
golden
term.
sombrero?
I'm striking out constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Striking out every at-bat?
I had no idea what that was, but yes, I've learned something today. But yes, Shane, for all Shane's attempts, they all just want to sleep with him and not who he's trying to
That's
hook
not
up
always
with.
true. Sometimes they just don't like you guys. I will
that hurts.
I will accept the compliment and thinking that some of these people want to sleep with me, which is a terrible life decision. Yeah,
Maybe
so I'm the
Steph
failed
should try to
wingman.
be my wingman.
Steph should try to be your wingman. Yeah, I'm just awful. So if you're a single guy who needs help, attracting a female, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Go
So
to
that
a bar
is the
with
story.
me.
Go
I'll
to the
have more
bar.
success for you.
There you go. Go to Hazy's with Steve, where he will get picked up by someone who is writing in on Lane Johnson's advice column.
Let's not go to Hazy's.
Maybe not Hazy's.
Not a place to pick up women.
Eesh. All
You're
right.
friendly with the girl who is the bartender there.
I'm very friendly with all the bartenders, but they're all like married.
Doesn't mean anything.
I'm not a homewrecker. Well, I was a homewrecker a couple times, but that's besides the point.
Good Lord. Wait a minute. What do you and Stephanie do every time I see you guys together?
Well, when I slept here, she gave me that kiss.
Good
Goodbye.
morning, yeah. So Steve spends the night at the house occasionally when he has ACL appointments the next day, and Stephanie mistakenly kisses him goodbye instead of me. It's a real fucked up situation here. Home wrecker. Remind me to fire you after this segment. And then the last one is, well, we kind of answered this already, but do you put more value in the joint practices as scrimmages versus the preseason itself? So it's the last part of that segment,
They're all one and the same.
basically.
It's preseason. Nobody cares.
No one does care.
There's only one player to watch, and that's a player who's playing tight end. That's like third string, does well. You'll know they'll do well. George Kittle.
You called it before it happened.
You know,
now he has a terrible haircut, which means he made it because he doesn't have to try anymore.
Right?
Him and Jeremy Lin.
Preseason is only good for getting fans hyped up about guys like the Paul Turners and Rasheed Baileys of the world who have no shot of actually making the team.
But it's cool.
But yeah, they develop storylines because they're basically coming out of nowhere, trying to make the team, and even if they do make it, they're just not going to do anything. So they're, at the end of the day, they're irrelevant, but they have their 15 seconds of fame.
They do. They do.
Our friend Ian once asked, how did you know Patrick Mahomes II was going to be this good? I'm like, well, I saw him throw about 90 yards in a preseason game, like on one throw. So I just said,
That guy's it.
This guy's it. It's legit. Preseason, don't care. 80 yards in the 80
Yards.
80 yards, 80 yards in the air, and it was still underthrown to Tyreek Hill.
Irish and you is coming out.
And it was
I haven't even had
still
whiskey yet.
No whiskey yet. That is saved for Whiskey Ramble. All right, so we wrap this one up, as we always do, as we rate the drink. So since we do have an alcoholic, our resident AMYP functional alcoholic, Steve, with us, you will also partake in this. So this is kind of therapy hour and drink hour. Yeah, we're just going to call it therapy hour. We're going to roll with that. Rob, you kind of already alluded to it, but did you have a specific drink that defines your week this week?
Well, I alluded to one, but I'm not going to go with this week because this week doesn't really call for it. Summer's winding down, but I'm kind of trying to hold on to the last dregs of summer here, at least the enjoyable parts of it, not the fucking humidity and all that shit. So I'm going to go with Corona Extra.
Corona Extra. All right.
Not bad.
So you had a, what do they call it, an assignment week or whatever for the military?
Yes.
Okay.
Annual training.
Annual training.
Yes.
So you had your 2-week session, and the only thing that you needed out of that was a Corona Extra?
Yeah, because, well, basically that just took 2 weeks of my summer, which is 2 weeks that I can't, go down to the beach and hang out at the beach bar, drink my Corona. So that's why I need a Corona now.
I respect it. I'm going to go with a 4.3. I think it's a 4.3.
Out of 5?
Out of 10.
Jackass.
4.3. There's not a whole lot of creativity, but I respect I respect the fact that your week wasn't terrible enough that you needed something harder.
It's also
It
probably the
was just
alcohol
really
content.
boring.
And
Also
it is,
probably the alcohol content.
there you go. That's actually probably solid.
Hey,
I
the
should
lower
probably
the
start
alcohol
researching this shit.
content, lower the alcohol
The more you
content,
can
the
drink.
more you can drink before you're finally drunk.
So with a lime or no?
Yes, always with the lime.
4.4. Quality follow-up, Steve. 4.4 on the Corona Extra with lime.
If you drink
For
a
Rob's
Corona
week.
Extra without the lime, you should just go jump off a bridge.
You and my cousin Dan saying the same damn shit. All right, Steve. Your drink of choice for this week. What kind of week did you have?
Jameson.
Jameson?
Looks at the Molson Canadian for about 10 seconds. Nope, Jameson.
It's a secondary drink, but my weeks are always shit, and I always need
Yeah, it's your
whiskey.
chaser, isn't it?
All right, so here.
Kind of is.
Well, I was just going to ask. Are you doing shots of this? Are you drinking it with ice? What's going on?
Shots.
Shots.
But can I do one for in the future? You rate this one, but I'll give you my drink of choice.
I can't see. There's no creativity to this. This is your regular. 2.9.
Okay.
I respect the fact that it's Jameson and not Teller, whatever, but 2.9.
I'm spending the extra $10 on a bottle.
There you go.
So you just gave Corona Extra a higher score than Jameson.
Only for the user. This one, he goes through a bottle of this a week. This is not new. This is nothing out of the ordinary for him. I'm looking for creativity and therapy.
I have creativity, and it's going to be my next week drink, which will be next Saturday.
Okay.
Where I'm going to be drinking hard.
All right.
It's an Irish car bomb.
All right.
Because it is my first week after my bank conversion. This weekend's going to be hell. Like, I'm going to be at a wedding. I'm not going to be able to drink that much. And then I have to go into work the next morning, deal with this bullshit, and then the bullshit of the first week of this new bank and everybody complaining to me that they didn't read letters. So I will be drinking some Irish car bombs Saturday night.
So that rates out at a 7.1. I think that's a pretty accurate drink for what you need to be doing this coming week. We are sorry that you need a 7.1 type of drink to get you through it, but I'll give you a ride home. 7.1 on Steve's future drink, 2.9 for Steve's regular Jameson, as he puts down every single night, and then Rob for his Corona Extra with a lime. Went from a 4.3 to a 4.4. Those are your rated drinks of the week for Backyard Beers and Football. I am your sober host, Shane. Be sure to visit our good friends over at Just Food, 215-794 Food, 215-794-3663. Treat yourself. Take it home. 2 store locations, one at Del Val College. It's the Del Val Mart there, and the other one is in Bucks County. I guess that's also in Bucks County, but in Buckingham Green.
Buckingham, yep.
I was blanking on it for a moment there. Buckingham Green Shopping Center. Visit our guy Asian Rob there. Have him make you anything. Steve, what did you have from him last time?
Pork roll and cheese?
No, not the breakfast that we went to. The next one.
Oh, I had shrimp salad, macaroni salad. They were great.
Shrimp salad and macaroni salad for Steve, and a red, white, and blue sandwich. Which do we know what that was yet?
I don't really know. I didn't really like it, but that's my choice. It was like my...
That's a terrible ad spot. It was delicious. I ate the rest of it. And I also don't know what it was, but I don't know what anything is that he makes. It's just brilliant every time.
I'm sure it was good if you like that stuff, but I just did not read it properly.
You did not read it properly.
Yeah, so it was my fault.
Jesus.
So I'm sure you'll like it.
Completely.
Right. I've never had to edit one of our podcasts on this part, but I may have to. Everything you get from is delicious.
I think you're contractually obligated to edit that out.
I may be contractually obligated to edit that out.
You might just need to go through and redo this whole fucking ad spot again.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I'll just re-record one by myself. I'll just sit here and talk in a sex voice about it or something. That way, at least he'll get that one. That's exactly right. We'll get that one Lane Johnson advice person to sit there and write in for it. But again, Just Food, 215-794 Food, 215-794-3663. I forgot what I do first, the letters or the numbers. Say I'm all jacked up here. Treat yourself. Take it home. Just Food, Asian Rob. I'm going to read the number again. 215-794-3663. Nailed it. All right, got it there. All good. Visit our written work on our website. It's www.alwaysnextyearpodcast.com. Always be sure to rate and review the podcast. Anytime any of you write anything that is at all interesting and not original, or that is original, blanking on words at this moment, I will read it. But if they suck, as most of our 20-some reviews that we have in so far recently do, I'm not wasting our breath. We waste enough breath during it. So be quality listeners. Give us some good content in these reviews here. Give the other people good content. Tell everyone how much you enjoy this segment and all of our segments here at ANYP. You can find us on Twitter at ANY Podcast. You can find Rob at radio_Rob. You can find Steve at Schmitty324. You can find me at Shane_Mead. Any final thoughts from you guys before I sign this one out?
I just got followed by crowdfunded government on Twitter. So if they're following me, then you can follow me.
There you go.
That's a really random thing to be followed by, and I hope I'm not being spied on by somebody.
You are. Conspiracy Theory Steve is about to sit here.
Spied on.
That is another full episode of Whiskey Ramble that we should do, by the way.
Just conspiracy theories?
Just conspiracy theories. I think that would be fucking brilliant. Anyway, Steve, any final thoughts for you?
I think you just said it.
All right, that's perfect. That'll be it here for Backyard Beers and Football. We'll be back next week. Hopefully Carson didn't play tonight and didn't die.
A fighting man I used to be, revered and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back to hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, and such over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son, still happy life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.